Ladies, every day is a new opportunity. Not to be perfect, but to be better. In a world that constantly tests your strength, resilience, and worth, it's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are bridges that protect your peace, energy, and identity. They are the invisible lines you draw around your time, your emotions, your body, and your mind, signaling to the world what is acceptable and what is not. Without them, life becomes a blur of obligation, burnout, and silent resentment. And for so many women, the struggle with boundaries comes from being raised to believe that being nice, agreeable, or self-sacrificing is the definition of being good. But the truth is, goodness without boundaries is self-abandonment in disguise. When a woman lacks boundaries, she overcommits, says yes when she means no, and silences her discomfort just to avoid conflict. She becomes drained, emotionally depleted, and distant from her true self. She absorbs other people's problems and guilt like a sponge. She starts to confuse being needed with being loved, and she begins to tie her worth to how much she can do for others. But there comes a moment in every woman's journey when she realizes this is not sustainable. That being everything to everyone is not only impossible, it's unnecessary. She understands that she cannot give from an empty cup, and more importantly, she shouldn't have to. Setting boundaries is not about being rude or selfish. It's about being clear and self-honoring. It's about saying, I respect myself enough to protect what matters to me. That might look like turning your phone off after a certain time. It might mean walking away from a conversation that turns toxic. It might mean declining a favor, not explaining yourself, or ending a relationship that drains you more than it grows you. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. People will push back. Some may label you as cold or distant, but that's often because they benefited from your lack of boundaries before. As you start building boundaries, you begin to trust yourself more. You stop second-guessing your decisions and start recognizing the power of your own voice. You no longer base your peace on other people's approval. You learn that it's not your job to make everyone else comfortable at the cost of your own well-being. You start to prioritize how you feel, not just how others feel about you. And from that place, you start to live more fully, more honestly, more freely. You protect your space not out of fear, but out of deep self-respect. You no longer feel guilty for resting, for disconnecting, or for prioritizing your needs. You realize that every time you choose yourself, you're teaching others how to treat you, not by demanding it, but by modeling it. Emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful traits a woman can develop because it determines how she handles herself in the face of conflict, disappointment, stress, and relationships. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about learning to understand, regulate, and express your emotions in healthy, constructive ways. A woman who masters emotional intelligence doesn't allow other people's behavior to control her reactions. She doesn't let anger lead her to say things she'll regret or allow sadness to paralyze her into inaction. Instead, she learns how to pause, reflect, and respond with intention rather than impulse. Emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness. You have to know what you're feeling before you can manage it. That means taking a moment to ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Is this about the current situation, or is it tied to something deeper? When you develop that awareness, you begin to catch your patterns. The way you shut down during conflict, the way you avoid vulnerability, the way you overreact when you feel unheard. And once you recognize those patterns, you gain the power to change them. Another layer of emotional intelligence is self-regulation, the ability to stay calm and centered when things don't go your way. That doesn't mean you don't feel upset or hurt, but you don't let those emotions run the show. You learn how to breathe, how to sit with discomfort, how to take space instead of exploding. That control doesn't make you weak, it makes you powerful, because it means your peace is no longer at the mercy of people who don't know how to treat you. It means you can choose your response, even when you're provoked. Empathy is also a part of emotional intelligence, understanding how others feel, even if you don't agree with them. This doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment or losing yourself in other people's emotions. It means being emotionally mature enough to see beyond your own perspective and communicate with compassion, even in disagreement. It allows you to strengthen your relationships, build deeper connections, and avoid unnecessary conflict. It teaches you that not every situation deserves a reaction, not every argument is worth having, and not every offense is a reason to destroy a bond. Emotional intelligence is what helps you stay grounded when life feels chaotic. It's what allows you to keep your dignity when others lose theirs. It's what lets you walk away from toxic situations, not because you're numb, but because you're wise. And as you grow in emotional intelligence, you begin to understand that true strength isn't in how loud you can be, but in how well you can master yourself in silence. Communication is a skill that many overlook, but it's one of the most vital aspects of a woman's daily growth. It's not just about talking. It's about expressing your truth with clarity, strength, and grace. The way you communicate sets the tone for how others treat you, how your needs are met, and how you move through both personal and professional spaces. Many women were taught to be silent, to hold back, to not make waves. But every time you shrink your truth to make others comfortable, you slowly disappear from your own life. Real communication is not about being aggressive or passive. It's about being assertive, clear, and kind. When you improve your communication, you stop hinting and hoping. You stop expecting others to read your mind or guess what you need. You learn to speak up, not with anger, but with honesty. You say what you mean and mean what you say. You express your boundaries with confidence. You give voice to your dreams, your concerns, your limits, and your feelings. You become easier to understand and harder to manipulate. People know where you stand because you no longer speak in confusion or contradiction. Effective communication also means learning how to listen, not just to respond, but to truly understand. It means paying attention to what someone is saying beneath their words. It means asking the right questions, not jumping to conclusions, and being open to hearing things you may not like, but need to hear. Communication is not a one-way street, it's a bridge. And when both sides meet with honesty and respect, something powerful is built, trust. But growth in communication also includes knowing when not to speak It's knowing when silence is stronger than words. It's understanding that not every argument needs a comeback. Not every accusation deserves a defense. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all, because your peace speaks volumes. Improving communication every day doesn't mean becoming a perfect speaker. It means becoming more authentic. It means letting go of people-pleasing, of sugarcoating, of emotional suppression. It means using your voice, even when it shakes. And the more you practice it, the stronger your voice becomes, not just to the world, but to yourself. Because every time you choose honest communication over silence, you reclaim a piece of your power. Financial growth is one of the most empowering forms of self-development a woman can pursue. It's not just about numbers in a bank account. It's about freedom, security, and the ability to make choices without fear or dependency. When a woman begins to take control of her finances, she changes the trajectory of her life. She no longer waits for someone else to provide stability. She becomes the source of her own. This shift starts with awareness, understanding where your money goes, what you value, and how your financial habits shape your future. Every day becomes an opportunity to make smarter decisions, to spend with intention, and to save with purpose. Many women grow up with limiting beliefs around money, believing it's too complicated, that it's a man's job, or that talking about it is taboo. These beliefs keep them stuck in cycles of lack, debt, and financial fear. But growth begins when you challenge those ideas. When you decide to learn about budgeting, investing, building credit, and creating multiple streams of income. You don't need to be wealthy to start. What you need is the mindset of responsibility and the willingness to learn. Even small actions like tracking expenses, cutting unnecessary costs, or setting aside a small emergency fund can spark powerful momentum. Financial growth also means being honest with yourself. Are you spending to fill a void? Are you buying things to impress people you don't even know? Are you relying too heavily on emotional spending to cope with stress? When you start asking yourself those hard questions, you begin to take back control. You shift from reactive to intentional. You learn that money isn't evil, it's a tool. And when you use that tool wisely, you build a life that's not ruled by panic or paycheck to paycheck pressure, but by stability, vision, and peace of mind. As you grow financially, you gain the ability to say no to things that don't serve your goals. You stop settling for jobs that underpay you. You stop relying on others to bail you out. You start to invest in your growth, your education, your business, or your future home. And you become a woman who not only survives, but thrives. Financial growth isn't about becoming greedy, it's about becoming free. Free to walk away from toxic situations, free to take a break when needed, free to live life on your own terms. Health and wellness are often seen as physical, but in truth, they touch every part of your being: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. Taking care of your body isn't about fitting into a certain dress size. It's about honoring the vessel that carries your dreams, your energy, and your life force. When a woman prioritizes her health, everything else improves. She thinks more clearly. She moves with more confidence. She has more energy to pursue her goals. Wellness is not about a quick fix or a crash diet. It's about consistent, daily choices that build a lifestyle of vitality. Every day, you are making choices that either heal or harm your body. What you eat, how you move, how you rest, these things matter. Drinking enough water, getting quality sleep, taking time to breathe and stretch, saying no to things that drain you. These are acts of self-love. It's not selfish to care for your health. It's essential. Because if you're constantly exhausted, overworked, or sick, you can't show up fully in any area of your life. And while it may be tempting to put everyone else's needs before your own, neglecting your health always comes at a cost. Wellness also includes your mental and emotional health. Are you making time for stillness? Are you processing your emotions or suppressing them? Are you surrounding yourself with people who nourish your spirit or deplete it? A healthy life is not just about green smoothies and gym memberships. It's about boundaries, rest, joy, and emotional clarity. It's about knowing when to push yourself and when to slow down. It's about tuning into what your body and mind are telling you and respecting those signals instead of ignoring them. When you make wellness a priority, you begin to glow differently. Your energy changes. Your resilience increases. You start radiating confidence, not from makeup or clothes, but from true well-being. And you start to realize that your health is the foundation of everything you want to build. It's not a luxury, it's your birthright. The stronger you are in your health, the stronger you become in your purpose, in your relationships, and in your daily life. Faith and spiritual connection are what keep you grounded when life shakes you. It is the deep inner knowing that you are not walking this journey alone. In a world filled with uncertainty, chaos, and constant noise, your spiritual life becomes your anchor. It's the place you go when you need clarity, peace, and strength that goes beyond human understanding. Whether it's through prayer, meditation, journaling, or time in nature, cultivating your spiritual life daily keeps you connected to something greater than your fears, failures, or ambitions. Spiritual growth is not about religion or rigid rituals. It's about intimacy with your soul. It's about asking, who am I becoming? What do I truly believe in? What values guide my life? These questions shape the way you live, lead, and love. A woman who is spiritually grounded doesn't crumble when life gets hard because she knows where her strength comes from. She understands that storms will come, but they won't destroy her. She's deeply rooted, unshakable, and clear in her purpose. Making time each day to connect with your spirit isn't just a peaceful moment. It's an act of alignment. It's where you release control, anxiety, and comparison. It's where you find answers when nothing else makes sense. It's where you remind yourself that your worth isn't based on productivity or approval. It's based on divine design. Faith gives you the courage to take leaps, to wait patiently, to trust the process, and to know that delay doesn't mean denial. And when you face rejection, betrayal, or loss, your spiritual foundation is what helps you heal. It teaches you to forgive, to let go, and to move forward with grace. It reminds you that everything happening in your life is either a lesson or a blessing, and often both. Your faith becomes your quiet confidence, your unseen armor, and your most powerful source of peace. When the world changes, your spirit remains steady, and from that place, you rise, not in your own strength alone, but in the power of something infinite, eternal, and deeply loving. Time is one of the most valuable resources a woman has, and how she uses it daily determines the direction of her life. Every woman gets the same 24 hours, but what sets one apart from another is the ability to prioritize what truly matters. Time management isn't about being busy every second, it's about being intentional with your moments. It's about recognizing that your time is sacred and treating it as such. When you start valuing your time, you stop wasting it on things, people, or habits that don't align with your purpose. You become more focused, more productive, and more fulfilled, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what matters most. Managing your time well starts with clarity. You must know your goals. You must be honest about your distractions. Whether it's social media, toxic conversations, or saying yes to things that drain you, every distraction costs you valuable time you can't get back. Time management is about structure, but also about self-respect. It's telling yourself, I matter enough to make time for rest, for growth, for self-care, for my dreams. When you don't plan your time, someone else will. And when your time is not protected, your potential is slowly stolen away by things that don't deserve it. Time management also teaches discipline. It challenges you to be consistent, even when you're not motivated. It helps you create habits that build your future, not just satisfy your present. It's setting boundaries around your focus, learning when to say no, when to unplug, and when to walk away from urgency that doesn't belong to you. It helps you avoid burnout by reminding you that every minute you spend is either building the life you want or drifting further from it. As you get better at managing your time, you begin to feel more in control of your life. You're no longer rushing through your days or ending the week wondering where the time went. You create balance. You find space to breathe, to dream, to create, to love, and to grow. You stop glorifying busyness and start honoring purpose. Because how you spend your time is ultimately how you spend your life, and you deserve a life that reflects your deepest values, not just your daily obligations. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build, piece by piece, through your actions, your mindset, and your courage. It's not loud, boastful, or dependent on others' opinions. Real confidence is quiet, calm, and deeply rooted in self-belief. It's the way a woman carries herself when no one is clapping for her. It's the way she walks into a room without needing to prove anything, because she already knows who she is. Building confidence doesn't mean you never feel insecure. It means you move forward even when you do. Confidence grows when you keep your word to yourself. When you follow through on the things you said you would do. When you challenge yourself and show up, even when it's hard. It grows every time you speak up instead of staying silent. Every time you take a risk instead of playing small. Every time you choose yourself instead of waiting to be chosen. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something is more important than fear. It's about choosing action, even with a shaky voice and a trembling heart. Another part of building confidence is learning to silence your inner critic. That voice that says you're not good enough, smart enough, or worthy of success. You have to recognize that voice for what it is, a collection of doubts, past wounds and societal conditioning. And every day, you must counter that voice with truth. You remind yourself of how far you've come, what you've survived, and what you're capable of. You affirm your value not because everything is perfect, but because you are growing, and growth is enough. Confidence also comes from embracing your uniqueness. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. You stop chasing trends, and start standing in your truth. You realize that no one can do what you do the way you do it. That your voice, your presence, your energy, it matters. When you build confidence from within, it changes everything. You speak with more authority, love more openly, and lead more powerfully. And most importantly, you give other women permission to do the same, not by telling them, but by being the living example. Mindset is everything. The way you think determines the way you live. It shapes your reactions, your beliefs, your habits, and your outcomes. A strong growth-focused mindset empowers a woman to rise beyond limitations, to learn from failure, and to keep moving forward when things get hard. Your mindset is your internal compass. It's the lens through which you interpret every situation. And if that lens is clouded with negativity, self-doubt, or fear, you will find reasons to give up long before success has a chance to show up. Building a strong mindset begins with self-awareness. You must start listening to your thoughts. Are they building you up or tearing you down? Are they feeding your courage or your fear? Are you speaking life over your goals or burying them in doubt? Changing your mindset is a daily practice. It requires you to choose faith over fear, progress over perfection, and resilience over defeat. It means understanding that challenges aren't roadblocks, they're part of the process. Setbacks don't mean stop, they mean grow, adjust and try again. A powerful mindset also helps you take ownership of your life. You stop blaming others, you stop waiting for external change. You begin to ask, what can I do with what I have right now? That question alone shifts your entire perspective. It turns you from a passive observer into an active creator. You realize that even if you can't control everything, you can always control your response. And that's where your power lies, in how you think, how you respond, and how you rise. With the right mindset, you don't just survive, you thrive. You stop fearing change and start embracing it. You stop avoiding discomfort and start using it as a tool for growth. Your mind becomes your greatest asset, not your biggest enemy. And the more you train it to focus on what's possible, the more possibilities begin to appear. Because a strong mindset doesn't guarantee an easy life, it guarantees that no matter what comes, you won't fold. You'll keep going, keep growing, and keep believing. Because you know that your thoughts are the soil, and your life is the harvest. Resilience is the strength you discover when life doesn't go according to plan. It's the power to get back up when you've been knocked down, to keep going when everything in you wants to quit, and to rebuild when something you counted on falls apart. Every woman at some point will face pain, betrayal, loss or disappointment. And while you may not be able to choose what happens to you, you can always choose how you respond. That choice is where resilience is born. It's not about pretending to be okay. It's about deciding to keep moving forward, even while healing. Resilience doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you honor your emotions without letting them define you. You cry, but you don't stay in sorrow. You feel anger, but you don't let it poison your heart. You acknowledge fear, but you don't bow to it. Resilience is what allows you to be both soft and strong, to bend without breaking. It teaches you that life's difficulties are not dead ends, but detours. They may delay you, but they don't have to destroy you. And often it's through the breaking that you uncover your greatest strength. To build resilience, you must build perspective. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You understand that every storm has a purpose, even if you don't see it in the moment. You trust that the pieces will come together, even if they feel shattered right now. Resilience teaches you to adapt, to pivot, to find another way. And with every obstacle you overcome, you grow more confident in your ability to survive and thrive. A resilient woman is dangerous to anything that tries to break her. Not because she's untouched by pain, but because she knows how to transform it. She knows how to turn wounds into wisdom, and setbacks into strength. She knows that every time she chooses to keep going, she's not just surviving, she's rewriting the story. And that strength becomes part of her spirit, part of her legacy, and part of her power that no one can take away. Communication is one of the most powerful skills a woman can master. It's not just about talking, it's about expressing yourself with clarity, confidence, and purpose. It's about knowing how to speak so that others listen, and how to listen so that others feel heard. Every relationship, whether personal or professional, rises or falls on the strength of communication. When a woman knows how to articulate her thoughts and emotions in a healthy, assertive way, she creates respect, understanding, and alignment in every area of her life. Communication is not about dominating a conversation. It's about connection. It's about bridging gaps, resolving misunderstandings, and creating harmony through words and presence. Strong communication starts with self-awareness. You have to know what you feel and what you want before you can express it clearly. Many women struggle to communicate because they've been conditioned to stay silent, to avoid conflict, or to put others' comfort before their own truth. But growth happens when you realize your voice matters. When you begin to speak your truth without apology or aggression. When you stop shrinking your words to protect other people's egos. Communication is not about being liked. It's about being real, respectful, and honest. It's being able to say no without guilt. To ask for what you need without shame. And to share how you feel without fear. Listening is also a vital part of communication. A woman who knows how to listen without interrupting, judging, or jumping to conclusions becomes a safe space for others. She creates deeper connections because people feel seen, valued, and respected in her presence. Listening is not just waiting to speak, it's giving someone the gift of your full attention. And when you pair that kind of listening with thoughtful responses, you become someone whose words carry weight. People trust you, respect you, and seek your perspective. Not because you talk the most, but because your words have meaning. Good communication also includes body language, tone, and timing. It's not just what you say, but how you say it. Are you calm or reactive? Do you communicate with warmth or with sharpness? Do you speak from a place of love or from ego and insecurity? These small details can make or break a message. When you learn to communicate from a place of emotional intelligence, you reduce drama, you protect your peace, and you build stronger relationships. And perhaps most importantly, you learn to communicate with yourself, being honest about your needs, kind about your mistakes, and clear about your intentions. Leadership isn't always about titles or positions. It's about influence, vision, and the ability to move people toward purpose. Every woman is a leader in some capacity, whether in her home, her career, her community, or her circle of friends. And the more she grows in her leadership, the more impact she can make. Leadership begins with self-leadership. You must learn to guide yourself before you can guide others. That means being accountable, disciplined, and grounded in your values. It means setting a standard for your life and showing up consistently, even when no one is watching. Leadership is not about perfection, it's about responsibility. A woman who leads well doesn't need to control others, she inspires them. She leads with humility, strength and compassion. She understands that leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the calmest presence, the clearest mind, and the most stable anchor during chaos. Leadership is not about being served. It's about serving others with vision, wisdom, and integrity. And when a woman steps into her leadership with authenticity, she gives other women the permission to rise as well. Great leaders are also great decision makers. They don't get stuck in overthinking or people-pleasing. They gather information, weigh the risks, trust their intuition, and take action. They learn from mistakes and adjust with grace. A woman growing in leadership becomes bold, not reckless, but bold. She learns to take ownership, to delegate, to ask for help, and to lead with both courage and empathy. She uplifts those around her, creating an environment where people feel seen and supported, not intimidated or dismissed. Leadership also means standing firm in your values, even when it's uncomfortable. It's the willingness to speak up when it would be easier to stay silent. To do the right thing when no one else is watching. It's leading with vision, even when the path isn't clear. And most of all, it's about legacy. A true leader thinks beyond today. She considers the impact of her actions on generations to come. She leads not for applause, but for change. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions, and to do the same with others. It's what allows you to respond instead of react, to stay grounded in a storm, to hold space for other people's feelings without losing your own balance. Women who grow in emotional intelligence become stronger, more compassionate, and more effective in every area of life. They learn that emotions are signals, not enemies. That feelings don't have to control you, but they should never be ignored. Emotional intelligence turns conflict into conversation, stress into growth, and pain into insight. To develop emotional intelligence, a woman must first become fluent in her own emotional landscape. She needs to pause and ask herself, what am I feeling right now, and why? Instead of running from hard emotions, she must lean into them. Whether it's anger, sadness, jealousy or fear, each emotion holds a message. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means learning to process them in a healthy way. Cry when you need to, take a break when you must. But always return with clarity and intention, not chaos and impulsiveness. It also involves being able to read the emotional energy of others. A woman with high emotional intelligence knows how to observe body language, tone and context. She understands that sometimes people don't say what they mean because they don't know how. She offers grace, but also holds boundaries. She knows when to comfort and when to challenge, when to give space and when to lean in. This awareness makes her an incredible partner, friend, leader and communicator. She brings calm into chaos and light into darkness, not by fixing everyone, but by being emotionally stable herself. Emotional intelligence also helps you avoid unnecessary drama. You learn to let go of petty arguments. You stop taking everything personally. You protect your peace by choosing your battles wisely. And when emotions run high, you know how to ground yourself, how to return to truth, and how to find solutions instead of escalating problems. This emotional mastery gives you freedom. Freedom to live without emotional roller coasters, to love without fear, and to lead with a calm heart and a clear mind. Personal boundaries are one of the most powerful forms of self-love. They are the lines you draw to protect your time, energy, emotions and values. When a woman sets and maintains healthy boundaries, she honors her worth. She stops overgiving, over-explaining, and overextending herself. She learns that saying no is not rude, it's responsible. That protecting her peace is not selfish, it's necessary. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are filters to let the right people in. Many women struggle with boundaries because they're afraid of being disliked, judged or abandoned. They equate being a good woman with being endlessly available, agreeable, and self-sacrificing. But that mindset leads to burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Growth begins when you realize that your needs matter, that your feelings are valid, that you don't have to explain or justify every decision you make. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about choosing what you will and won't allow in your life. Boundaries are also what teach people how to treat you. When you consistently allow disrespect, manipulation or neglect, you send the message that it's acceptable. But when you speak up, walk away, or stand firm, you reclaim your power. And the more you practice boundaries, the more natural they become. You stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first. You start surrounding yourself with people who respect your limits, because they respect your strength. Boundaries also protect your mental and emotional health. They help you manage your time, avoid toxic situations, and stay focused on what truly matters. They allow you to rest without guilt, to say no without explanation, and to walk away from anything that disturbs your peace. And over time they create a life filled with mutual respect, deep joy, and emotional freedom. Because a woman who knows her limits and honors them is unstoppable. She is no longer swayed by pressure or guilt. She is led by purpose, wisdom, and deep self-respect. Would you like the sixth key point next? Forgiveness is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice that requires patience, compassion, and commitment. It is a powerful tool that not only heals the heart, but also transforms lives, allowing women to break free from the past and embrace their full potential. When you choose to forgive, you are not just letting go of old wounds, you are choosing to live with a heart full of peace, resilience, and strength. It is in this freedom that true healing occurs, enabling you to build stronger relationships, nurture your inner growth, and create a future defined by love, understanding, and empowerment. The act of forgiveness is a gift to yourself, a pathway to emotional freedom, and a testament to the incredible strength within you.